Hey, what is going on, guys? My name's D-Free. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super review. Forgive me if I sound a little bit different. I'm in a situation where I'm in a different place, and the only microphone I have with me right now is the one built into my laptop, so it's not very good. But anyways, we're going to talk about the latest episode of Super. That's also, by the way, why I'm late with the review. But the latest episode of Super pretty much entails a whole lot of Broly, if you will. I mean, Kale is literally Broly. I mean, we knew that going in. She would look like Broly. She had the same transformation, basically. I mean, they're not going to call it Legendary Super Saiyan, but we knew that she was basically Broly, like the canon version of Broly, if you will. But she is literally Broly. They are fighting, and she is literally using Broly's techniques. She even says her power is overflowing, and I'm sitting here like, damn, can you be any more on the nose with this? Freaking Toei just had no holds barred. She's Broly. And it's funny, too, because she's really docile and timid in her base form, which is kind of similar to how Broly was in that first movie. You know, he was also kind of under control a little bit, but he always was a character, even when you look at his backstory, that kind of just raged out and got really mad and then went into a berserker state, which is what she did, albeit her reason is really stupid, but it is what she did. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the episode. So the episode begins with Kale, Kabe, and Caulifla still going ahead and doing the training and stuff, and they're still trying to goat Kale. I'm going to get Kale and Caulifla mixed up so often. Kale into transforming because she's the only one that hadn't shown the ability to do so yet. And Caulifla's like, hey, we know you can do it. You're a Saiyan. And then they turn into, hey, you know that tingly feeling, a tingly thing in your back, tingly feeling, tingly feeling. I'm like, bro, stop with the tingly feeling. We get it. And one thing I did like, though, because I've thought for the last couple weeks that tingly feeling thing was a bit of a cop-out, because obviously we weren't accustomed to that. They always predicated it on anger in Dragon Ball Z. So that's basically how every character achieved it. You know, anger or really intense emotion, which also can be anger. But in Super, they introduced basically, hey, you can do it if you know how to do it. You know, and it's kind of weird too. That's because in Z, you know, they also kind of made the point that you have to reach a certain level in power before you can transform into Super Saiyan. We don't know how strong these characters are at this point. It doesn't truly matter, I guess. We don't know how strong they are peak base form power level, but it doesn't truly matter in the context of Super, because Super just completely chooses to ignore all of that type of stuff and just say, this character can transform, and this character's transformation will be as strong as this character's transformation. You know, and that's one thing I truly didn't like, and I have not liked. They treat it like Goku's Super Saiyan is equivalent to Gohan's, who hasn't been training for forever. And it's like, come on now, Super. Really? Goku's trains like every day. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. They go ahead and ultimately goad her into it, but the reason that they get her into it is because basically Caulifla and Kabe were getting a little bit friendly, and Kale got jealous. You know, I mean, that's her protege, or her mentor, so I understand she's a protege. I understand that she apparently wants the attention, but it was like, damn, they weren't really even doing anything. They were just talking. And in the middle of they're like, oh, let's go ahead and try to insult her and force her into anger. And they make her cry. And I'm like, damn, she's so sensitive. That's why I said she's timid and docile. But when she transforms, the second she transforms, and you know she's Broly, man. They got all the green aura spheres and all that. She's Broly. But like I said, they'll never call it the Legendary Super Saiyan transformation. But anyways, the second she transforms, she's like, Kabe, kill. And I'm like, damn, she has no holds barred for this man. She just wants to annihilate him, just destroy his life. She knocks him into a big old mountain type thing, and he's like, I've got to stop her. And he goes Super Saiyan, and he fights her even. You know, he fights her even for a moment. She knocks him away, and then she's about to shoot a blast at him. She's like, my power's overflowing. I'm like, stop it. Stop it. You're not Broly, what you are. She's like, my power's overflowing. She throws a ki blast at him. Whatever Dragon Ball's universe, I think, calls it like gigantic meteor or some shit like that. And then at that point, Caulifla jumps in. She actually ascends to Super Saiyan 2. She ascends to Super Saiyan 2. You see the aura spike, the hair spike, the aura, the lightning. She goes Super Saiyan 2. There's no doubt about it. And she deflects the blast. I don't feel like it's too soon for her to achieve Super Saiyan 2, given that she just achieved Super Saiyan 1, if she was already on that level. And it's most understandable for a character like Caulifla because they already said she has immense potential. So she already was on some different level of plane of power being in her base form. So it would truly make sense for her to kind of ascend there. But she did it so effortlessly. Like, she knew she was able to do it and she just didn't care. You know, she just went, oh, boom, into it. You know, every other time we saw these characters achieve a new level of power, they had to, but also that was Z, and Super doesn't do that whole thing where they power for 5 episodes. But you know what I mean. Ijo, she just did it so effortlessly. And there was never even mention to there being another level beyond Super Saiyan 1, basically. Kabe, I don't think Kabe can even do Super Saiyan 2, which is another interesting thing, because he's the one that goes over there to recruit them. Kale basically has a transformation stronger than his. He is stuck with Super Saiyan 1, and Caulifla can go 2. So it makes me wonder if they're going to do some training. There's only about an hour and a half. It makes me wonder if they're going to do some training and Kabe will get a little stronger. But because at this point, it seems like he's the weakest one there. Not to say he's weak, but it just seems like he's the weakest of the 3. And he said, hey, because basically the way that they were able to calm down Kale was to say, hey, Caulifla's like, I'd never fall for him. I'm not that weak. And, you know, she falls out of the air with a smile on her face. But I don't know. We'll see what they do there. But anyways, the second half of this was pretty much Goku recruiting Frieza. So Goku goes to Yema and he says, hey, have you heard of other universes? He says, I know there's a rumor of them, and so on and so forth. And Goku basically tells him, hey, I'm going to resurrect Frieza because there's this thing called the Tournament of Power. If we lose, we're annihilated, and we need Frieza's help, basically. And one thing that was pretty funny that Yema says is, just whenever he's done, if you do resurrect him, just do it away from Earth so I don't have to deal with him. That's interesting because we just looked at the otherworld as being otherworld. Maybe there's other Yema type figures that handle or other sectors of the universe, because I don't think they've ever mentioned that he only handles Earth or maybe something in that area. So that's really cool, actually. Basically, they've been trying to make Frieza repent for his sins, but he won't do it. Frieza is literally just a tyrant. He's like, no, not doing it. Sorry, I'm not sorry for shit I did. Sorry, not sorry, basically. So they're trying to make him do it, and he won't do it. But on top of that, another thing that happens here is Goku goes down to Frieza's hell. And it's, you know, it's that flowery atmosphere that we saw in the Resurrection F arc and movie. Flowery type atmosphere and stuff. We don't see like the stuffed animals and stuff walking around, but apparently they may have already done so. But I digress. He cuts Frieza down. He tells him all about it. And Frieza says, what if I refuse? He says, basically, you don't get to participate, but it doesn't matter anyway because, you know, you can't try to run or whatever because if we lose, we're done. So it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to die, basically. So Frieza says, okay, I'll join. Frieza basically says, which is interesting too, I can still get much stronger. We know he trained for 4 months, which is a bit of it was a ass pull. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. It was an ass pull. We know he trained for 4 months, but another thing is he says he can get a lot stronger. Maybe he can get stronger by training with Goku and Vegeta and these guys, but we do know that he is a character that has immense potential as well, right? He doesn't seem to have hit anywhere near his peak because one immediate thing he can do is learn how to control his golden form better. So he builds better stamina in it. And that in and of itself will make him, quotes up, stronger. It won't necessarily improve his battle power probably, but it'll at least make him stronger because he can sustain his powerful form. So what I'm interested in is what they're going to do, because the next episode seems like, you know, because they've got this subplot going to this episode where that little rat god of destruction, I forgot his name, I don't really too much care. He is kind of plotting and spying on Universe 7. They've got that subplot going, so that may feed into the next episode. That's kind of what it looked like from the episode preview. So maybe that'll be how Frieza gets a little stronger, but basically at this point, all these characters have to get stronger, and they all are. You know, guys are training in different ways, we're training throughout the years, whatever, right? They're all just getting stronger because they have to be. And one thing in here, another thing, was Whis. Goku asks Whis, he says, hey, do you think that we can win? Because Vegeta says, we don't need Frieza, we could win, da-da-da. Typical Vegeta. He says, I don't know, it's tough to tell because I don't know about all the universes, but I will say that in one of the universes, there is a mortal that is stronger than a god of destruction. And that god of destruction that he is stronger than is basically stronger than Beerus. And Beerus says, well, I only lost in an arm wrestling match. So that doesn't necessarily mean he's stronger, but either way, it's very compelling to think about there being a mortal that powerful out there. So I wonder if they're foreshadowing Jiren or somebody else. That could be really interesting, right? Because they may be talking about Jiren and his god of destruction for his universe, because Topo, the thing is, if you look at it this way, Topo was said to be a candidate for the god of destruction position. That means that logically speaking or thinking, he basically has to be in the same realm of power as their god of destruction. If Jiren is supposed to be the strongest member of that universe, that means that he would be stronger than him, which means he'd probably be stronger than the god of destruction too. So that's interesting to think about, you know, especially if he's participating. So, you know, it's something to kind of parking lot and come back to. Either way, Frieza does say he'll join. He says he can get stronger. Goku tells him the terms. And I did like the callback to Yurinai Baba or Fortune Teller Baba and having to give her a gift. I really like that, actually, because that's an old Dragon Ball relic. So anyways, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Kale is literally, Broly, literally, not even a joke. Anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.